rectification of errors. This is our topic. And now we will be discussing the errors, the second type of the errors in which there is a difference in our trial balance. So these errors are also known as suspense account error. Why? Because in the presence of these type of error, any side of the trial balance, either the debit side or credit side, would be lesser. So the side will be balanced with this suspense account. The balancing figure is giving us a suspense that what are the errors behind this difference. So temporarily we open an account which is known as suspense account. Okay, so now we have to deal with this suspense, that how to get rid of this suspense thing. Let's see the further categories of errors. But before we discuss the categories of errors, just look into this trial balance in which we see that our debit side is not equal to the credit side. Debit side is giving us a total of 160,500, whereas the credit side is giving us a total of 168,000. So it means that there will be a suspense account in the debit side. Well, and that is 7,500. Okay, so this 7,500 is our suspense. So what do? We put this 7,500 in the suspense account, in the trial balance, in the name of suspense account, and then we start doing the investigation. Well, the reasons of difference in trial balance where both sides are not equal could be: number one, under or overcasting of a ledger account, means sales account or purchase account or salaries account or electricity bill account or debtors account, any ledger account. Okay, undercasting or overcasting. For example, sales income account was overcast by 200. The thing is, whenever there is over or undercasting, it means over or undercasting of a sales account, a ledger account. Remember, of a ledger account, which is a part of a trial balance. Okay, so that ledger account is overcast or undercast, means second effect is not required. The second effect of sales account, either in the cash or bank or accounts receivable, was correctly given. So in this case, when sales were overcast, now we have to reduce the sales by giving debit 200, and second effect will be given to the suspense account. Okay, and if we are taking the same example, sales account, which is our income, was undercast, means we put less amount in the sales account. Sales have credit nature, this we know very well. So what we see, that sales account will be credited with a debit to the suspense account. Remember, this will only affect the trial balance agreement. There will be no issue with the ledger accounts. Okay, because we made under or overcasting of the sales account and the trial balance was wrong. This balance was wrongly put in the trial balance. Next comes omission of a balance from trial balance. Everything was correct. We correctly posted amounts in the ledger accounts. Casting was also correct. The only thing is that while preparing the trial balance, we put wrong figure in the trial balance. See, bad debts balance of 700 already correctly accounted for is not appearing in the trial balance. We forgot to put this 700 bad debts in the trial balance. So now bad debts will be debited and suspense account will be credited. This will also affect the trial balance agreement only. The ledger account is correct. Okay. Then comes balance, that is representing an account appearing in trial balance with less or excess or wrong amount. Okay, so building account balance carried forward was 700,000, but erroneously it is appearing in the trial balance as 70,000. Okay, this was supposed to be appearing in the trial balance with the amount of 700. Again, the ledger accounts are correct, only trial balance will give us a wrong information. So in the trial balance we will debit building account and suspense account will be credited. Just to eliminate this suspense account from the trial balance, we will debit building account. So this thing will affect the trial balance only. Okay, very good. Now, an account was given debit effect instead of credit effect. For example, sales of 800 on credit was correctly debited to the debtors account, because what is the correct accounting entry for sales? That is debtors account debit and sales account credit with 800. Okay, this was the correct accounting entry, but that was also debited to the sales account. This was the correct accounting entry. Okay, what wrong we did? What wrong we did? We correctly debited our debtors account. We correctly debited our debtors account. Okay, and at the same time we give debit to the sales account. Okay, we are giving debit to the sales account. Both are being debited with 800. This is the wrong what we did. Okay, so how to rectify this? Sales account will be credited with double amount. Why? Because single amount will cancel this debit effect and the second credit will give sales account the effect of 800. So sales account will be credited with 800. Alright, since the debit effect is correct, there is no issue with the debit effect, so we don't have anything, any accounting head to debit but the suspense account. So in this case suspense account would be debited. Alright, and this is causing a difference with double amount. This is what we have already discussed. Alright, great. Now a ledger account was given credit effect instead of debit effect. So now the issue is the sales of 800 on credit was correctly credited in the sales account but was also credited in the debtors account. So what was the correct entry? Debtors account debit and sales account credit with 800. So what wrong we did? The wrong is that sales account and debtors account both are being credited. There is nothing in debit, sales and debtors. Look, error is error. Error means anything can happen. So you will not say that why the accountant, this accountant doesn't know even this small accounting thing. So this is error. Error can happen. Any type of error can happen. So there is nothing in debit, both are credit. Okay, so how to rectify? Now this debtor is wrongly credited, so this will be debited with double amount 1600. Here we go. Okay, 1600, and there is nothing to credit because sales are correctly credited, which were supposed to be credited were correctly credited. So now we will give credit to the suspense account with this equal amount. Okay, so this is again causing difference with double amount. All right, the next thing is single accounting effect. Either debit or credit was recorded or posted in the books of accounts. sales of 800 rupees on credit were posted in sales account only. Okay, so what was the correct accounting entry? Debtor were supposed to be debited and sales were supposed to be credited with 800. What we did wrong? There is no debit, just sales were credited with 800. There is no debit. Okay, so there is only one single effect is required to rectify this error, and that is to the debtors. So these debtors will be debited with 800, and since the sale has been correctly credited, therefore we will credit the suspense account in order to equal this debit and credit in the accounting entry. So what we can see, that there is a single effect that is causing. Okay, so the next thing is, one of the accounting effects was recorded with wrong amount. Okay, so again the example is sales of 800. The debtor account was supposed to be debited with 800 and sales account was supposed to be credited with 800. Okay, so what happened? That it was correctly credited to the sales account but was wrongly debited to the debtors account with 80. So debtors were debited with 80 and sales were credited with 800. So this is the thing. So now, in order to rectify, since this has already been debited with 80, 720 is the amount less debited in the debtors account. So we will give debit of 720 to the debtors with a suspense account of 720, because all other effects were correct. All right, and this is causing a difference with single amount. We don't need to double the amount. Okay, so remember all these things. So the important tips to remember in this module are that single entry, when rectifies the error, then the second effect is given to the suspense account. So we have observed this thing. By giving single effect, the error is correct. So we have to give second effect in order to equalize the debit and credit. Otherwise, suspense account will never be eliminated. So second effect needs to be given to the suspense account. Well, so ultimately the suspense account should be nil. By doing this, the suspense account will be nil. All right, so practice this and it will give you a perfect knowledge. Thank you.